If you could only carry one knife every day, would you pick a fixed blade or a folder? Today, we're going to take a look at the real life pros and cons of each, and I'm going to show you just how surprisingly easy it can be to carry each of these. Now, as you can see, I have an example of each here, but we're going to start out with fixed blade. So the positives of a fixed blade: they are strong, simple, and have no moving parts. Instant deployment, there's no lock to fail either. Some options are surprisingly lightweight and compact with the right sheath, and when worn on the belt, it actually opens up more space in your pocket to carry more gear. Now, as far as the negatives, they can be bulkier. Now, this Reef F3 is a particularly bulky example. It is a chonky boy, as I call it, of a EDC fixed blade, which is great because it fills the hand, but it is a bulkier knife for sure. You also need a sheath in order to carry a fixed blade, and that's going to add size and weight, and it can also be harder to conceal with some clothing. Now, that last point is one that many people cite as the main reason for not carrying a fixed blade, but it's one that I have found to be overblown. In fact, I'm carrying 4 fixed blades on me right now, but you wouldn't have known that if I didn't tell you. Now, I'll show you all of them. First, we have the Line Steel M1, and this is in a deep carry leather sheath. This one doesn't come with a pocket clip, but there are a lot of other knife models that do come with pocket clips with this kind of sheath. This one also came with a lanyard and a bead, which helps pulling that out of the sheath there, but that is one option. Next, we have the Montana Knife Company Mini Speed Goat 2.0, and that is in a pocket sheath there. And that is held in by an ulti clip, which, as you can see, is very secure. I had a little bit of trouble getting it off there. Next, we have, and you may have seen it when I took that one off, the Loadout Beaver, and that was in another Kydex sheath that is also held in by an ulti clip, but this one is in the 5th pocket. And you may have seen my review on the Loadout Beaver. This was actually just my most recent review, and this is the first legitimate 5th pocket fixed blade that I have tried out, and it is definitely a winner. So if you're interested in that, go check out that review. And last but not least, and this is my favorite mode of carry, I have right here the Reef Knives F3, and that is in a Kydex sheath, and it is held on by soft loops here. And that is what that looks like. So those are just 4 modes of carry. There really are more than that. And there's also variations like the horizontal belt carry I had going on here. You could carry it strong side appendix. I was carrying it appendix cross draw. You can also carry it on the back side of your body. They call that scout carry. So even within that one form of carry, you have different variations. So lots of different ways that you can carry a fixed blade without it being obvious that you're doing it. There are other carry options as well, but those were my go-to methods. Now, of course, the most common choice for an everyday carry knife is not a fixed blade, it is a folder. And let's see why that is. So the positives of a folder: they are compact and convenient. They fold down, and so they're going to be easier to fit into a pocket or wherever else you want to put it. Like I mentioned, the pocket, they will slip into almost any pocket, and that's with or without a pocket clip. You may not want to use a pocket clip to carry it on the pocket, and you can just leave it down in your pocket. They are also generally more socially acceptable when they are pulled out in public. So, for example, pulling out a Swiss Army knife is going to be more socially acceptable than pulling out a 4-inch fixed blades in most contexts. So that's something to consider. And also, they have a wide range of locks, blade shapes, and materials. Now, the blade shapes and materials you can also get in fixed blades, but because folding knives tend to be more popular, you are going to have a lot more options out there for those, especially in the EDC size range. Now, as far as negatives, they have moving parts and they can fail. So, you know, a lot can fail, or different parts inside of it can fail. They do require more cleaning and maintenance, especially if you're carrying them every day. You're probably going to have to lubricate the pivot and possibly clear out any fuzzies or lint that get inside of it from part of carrying every day. And that also especially applies if you're using it for things that are going to inherently get it dirty, you know, like skinning an animal or something like that. And the other negative is they are slower to deploy than a fixed blade, and that's just by the nature that you have to deploy the blade in a folder, as opposed to a fixed blade where it is already essentially deployed. And we're going to look at some options for carrying a folder. And just like with the fixed blades, there's multiple ways that you can carry a folding knife too. Most people are going to default to strong side pocket carry, which is an absolutely fine way to carry, and we'll get to that. But I'm going to start out here with one that you might not consider as much, and that is short pocket carry. And this is the Boker Kaizen, and it is a bit more of a gentleman's knife. And you might have mistaken that for a pen when you initially saw it in my shirt pocket, but that is a great option if you are wearing, you know, more formal or business casual wear and you want to have a knife but not have it look like a knife. And next, we are going to get to the strong side pocket carry, and for that I have the Spyderco Sage 5. You might recognize this from the intro. And this is a great option, carries very well. The very minimalist wire pocket clip is fantastic. It doesn't, no billboarding, doesn't really show off anything. So that is your more probably traditional option. We also have a fifth pocket knife here. We have the Artisan Cutlery Clio. And as I mentioned, that goes in the fifth pocket. So similar carry to the standard pocket carry, just the smaller pocket. And last but not least, we have the, see, it was so well hidden, I almost forgot where it was. This is the Victorinox Spartan, and this was just carried loose in my pocket, and that's going to be the standard way that you're probably going to carry most Swiss Army knives. However, there is a company making pocket clips out here for this, and it uses the key ring hole here. So if you wanted to, you could actually convert your 91 millimeter, I think is the size for these, Swiss Army knife to carry with a pocket clip. So that is something to consider as well. But those are the 4 ways that I will commonly carry. Again, there's probably more spots you can carry, like your back pocket and things like that. But as far as me, that's the ways that I carry folding knives. Now that we've looked at both options, let's talk about the factors that can decide which is right for you. So first, we're going to have use case. And that is, are you carrying it in an office? Are you carrying it to do outdoor tasks? Or are you just carrying it generally out and about? A folder may be a better fit for the office, whereas a fixed blade may be a better fit for your outdoor work, but that is not a cut and dry thing either, but that's just something to consider. Maintenance. Do you mind maintaining your knives? If you really don't like maintaining your knives, a fixed blade may be better for you. Whereas if you actually get some enjoyment out of maintaining your knives, taking them apart, putting them back together, because I know some people enjoy that. I don't, but some people do. Then you might get more enjoyment out of a folding knife. Durability. Now, most locks on a folding knife are generally very strong and capable for most EDC tasks, but a full tang fixed blade is going to be more robust. So if you're really going to beat the heck out of your knife and you need something super durable, a fixed blade is probably going to be a better option for you. Now, legal restrictions are one that's going to vary a lot depending on where you live, but things like blade length, which you're going to be able to find a lot more 3-inch and under folders, if that is the blade length restriction in your area, as opposed to fixed blades, but there are plenty of fixed blades out there with that option as well. Also, concealed carry versus open carry, and that may actually kind of be counterintuitive on some of that. You might think that it would be easier to concealed carry a knife as opposed to open carry, but there are some places that if you are concealed carrying a knife, you're going to get in trouble, whereas if you were open carrying that same knife, it's perfectly legal. So that's just something you need to be aware of and how your area treats those things. And also, some areas have specific rules around fixed blades versus folders as far as, you know, what's legal and what you can carry. So that's something that you'll need to research in your area and decide that. Now, the last two here are my 2 biggest ones. And that is, what does the rest of your EDC loadout look like? What else are you carrying and how are you carrying it? And even more to the point, where are you carrying it? Does carrying something on your belt give you more room for the other things that you want to carry? Or does it make sense to have it in the pocket and you're going to have other things in your belt, or you're just going to be pretty minimalist and be able to fit everything in those pockets? And also, Do you need more room in your pockets or on your belt? Is that a consideration that you want to have, even for something you don't consider EDC, like your phone or your keys or something you don't consider EDC gear, but do you need more room in your pockets? So that's something to consider. And finally, and this may be the most important one, is wardrobe. So are you wearing jeans, or are you wearing khakis or dress pants, or jogging pants or shorts, or are you even going full on with a suit and a tux? What you are wearing is going to determine what you can carry, where you can carry it, and how to carry it. And also, your tops. Are you wearing a button-up shirt? Are you wearing a jacket? Are you wearing a tucked-in t-shirt? Or are any of those tucked in? Because that will affect what you can carry. Now, you saw that what you saw in the videos of me showing where I was carrying knives, that is what I generally wear in my day-to-day. I usually wear jeans and a button-up t-shirt, or a button-up shirt that is untucked. And because of that, I have a lot more flexibility in what I can carry and where I can carry it, while still keeping it out of public view, which I think it is legal in my area to carry knives openly, but just so as not to alarm people, I prefer to carry mine where you can't see them. So at the end of the day, both types of knives can work, but which one you choose comes down to what factors matter the most to you. For me, well, I carry both. Which one usually depends on what I'm wearing and where I'm going. I like to say I carry a fixed blade around 80% of the time and a folder the other 20%. And I usually wear my fixed blades on my belt appendix cross draw. Occasionally I will pocket carry a fixed blade. And then of course my folders I tend to carry in either the main pocket or the fifth pocket, although I do occasionally toss my Swiss Army knives in my pocket loose. But my answer may not be your answer. There is really no right or wrong answer to this question. It all depends on your use, your wardrobe, and your priorities. Whether it's the strength, simplicity, and reliability of a fixed blade, or the compactness, the versatility, and the variety of a folder. The variables that matter the most to you will determine the right choice for your circumstances. So, what about you? Do you carry a fixed blade, a folder, or do you even carry both? Let me know and drop a comment down below. I'd love to hear about your setup, and let me know why. I want to hear not just what you carry, but the why behind it. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, please consider leaving a like, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And until next time, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and I'll see you in the next video.